Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome Issue 3. When we last left our villains, Starline, Surge, and Kit had started their attack on, I think, Egg Base Alpha, whichever Egg Base they were on, and they were able to capture it pretty easy, but there was a couple of important little caveats there. One, Starline spent some time reminiscing about everything with Eggman, and his specific feelings around Eggman, and swears that he will, make Eggman realize the error of his ways and sort of ally himself up with Starline again. And meanwhile, Surge takes a hit from this giant, I think Egg Breaker it's called, that, as she notes, should have killed her. But it doesn't. And so more and more, Surge and Kit are starting to realize that something is up with them, with their bodies, and that almost certainly Starline is responsible. And they're right, though they don't quite know that yet. But all of that is sort of hovering around as we go into issue 3. So with that said, let's just jump right on in. Our cover here sort of teases a fight with Eggman, as Starline sort of runs away from Metal Sonic as Eggman chases him. Issue 50 is coming, and as a reminder, the Sonic 2 movie, I think, comes out before the next issue of the main series, which is between this issue and the final issue of Imposter Syndrome. Let me see if that's right. Because it might be. Yeah, the next issue 49 is the 20th of April, and Sonic 2 is the 8th. So, that's coming real soon. I did not realize how close we were to the second movie. That's going to be a lot of fun, I hope. But anyway, we have our story so far, which is sort of, we see Surge and Kit in training. We see their plan to take over the base. And Surge slowly starting to realize that something wrong is happening with them. Anyway, our roll call is Starline, Surge, and Kit. And we open with a video recording. And I think an important note here we see from the previously is Surge has the specific Surge line that's highlighted there is, Starline needs to hear himself talk, we find his records, we find out what he did to us, and then we make him hurt for it. Because we open, though we have been doing this for the past couple of issues, on a recording of Starline. Starline, we see, is flustered, kind of stressed out. Eggman! Dr. Eggman! Rejected me! I worked so hard to help him, and he robs me! Has me thrown into the wilderness. And we see this is right after issue 25, when Eggman initially ditched him after Starline summoned the Zeni. If he won't accept my help, he'll be made to see. See this frame I prototyped? It's revolutionary. I was going to show him the concept, but now I'll give him a live display. And we see some sort of half-finished metal armor. I guess that's what he means by a frame. He'll wear it to run circles. The next line is, and it'll run rings around Metal Sonic. Whatever it turns out to be. Oh, he doesn't even know what it is yet. Okay. No sloppily constructed badniks. No over-specialized vanity projects. Yes, that means you, Metal Sonic. He's just fucking manic here. This is right after he's been rejected. But a versatile, robust, superior creation. And I want to kind of, at some point, go back to, I think, in the second annual, the weird little, Metal Sonic short that never really went anywhere, that I think had Metal Sonic and Starline together? I don't know. Maybe that's important here. Maybe it's just complete randomness. I don't know. Anyway, we now see him. This upcoming editor's note tells us post-bad guys. Introspection and revision. 2 things my idol lacks. 2 things I must embrace to surpass him. And it looks like he has a box of speed cores, I guess, he's putting into the tricore. My time with Zavok and the others opened my eyes. My initial plans were short-sighted. All the power and obedience of a machine means nothing in the chaotic and unpredictable world I'm trying to control. Okay. So that honestly seems to put him at odds with Eggman. He has no interest in a machine. How do I phrase this? If everyone becomes a machine, then everything is sort of uniform and dull, as we eventually saw in Silver's future, during the Metal Virus saga. There's no life on Earth. And Starline is presenting himself as being diametrically opposed to Eggman in that way. Though I'm not sure Starline himself sees that. But this seems to be, my guess is, him starting to get the idea to, to create the imposters. Because he goes on, I need the will and ingenuity of a living being. I need to take my initial designs and fuse them. Dr. Eggman has spent all this time inserting animals into his robots, when the solution was the other way around. And, okay. So I think that means that Sergeant Kit, if I'm not mistaken here, it means they were already alive, just regular animals, before Starline got to them. They weren't manufactured solely off of Sonic and Tails DNA. They've just been implanted with Sonic and Tails DNA. Which I suppose does answer the question of A, why are they different species? And B, why are Sonic and Surge different genders? But anyway, when the solution was the other way around. And I do really love that panel. That's just a good damn panel here. The theatrical Starline pose, the squirming Surge and Kit behind him. And yeah, we do see that Surge and Kit are watching this. And Surge comments, "Sweet Gaia below. Does this guy ever shut up?" So there's the Sonic Unleashed reference. In a way I was not really expecting. Is Gaia an established religion in Sonic's world? Is that a thing? Anyway, Kit asked her, do you want me to log out? No, you did good hacking into Starline's files. Keep digging. I want more details. Though we also see here, in contrast to the sort of bully dynamic that Surge and Kit normally have, without Starline around, Surge is almost kind to Kit. Anyway, Kit goes on, searching. His archives are extensive. And Surge kind of grabs her nose. Being a mad scientist wasn't bad enough. He had to be a wannabe influencer too. That feels a little out of left field. That's not really what's okay. I'm not gonna poke that line. Makes no sense. But anyway, Kit goes on. At least we know now how he enhanced us. Should we really be going behind his back like this? And I take back what I just said about their dynamic being kinder here. Because Surge snaps at him. When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. More deets now. Yes, ma'am. I think I found something. And then we have another file. Don't know when this is. The cybernetic enhancements have taken. My base models are complete. Now comes the specialization. I have assembled the necessary ingredients to emulate the biomechanical miracles of my adversaries and install them into my cybernetic enforcers. And we see Metal Sonic, Sonic, Shadow, the cores, and Tails' hair from the end of CRABB. But Starline goes on, emulated but not replicated. Subject Kitsunami will need external support. Subject Surge will need electromagnetic propulsion. But I'm aiming to improve upon things, not maintain the status quo. But that much power must be kept under control. Once again, I look to Dr. Eggman for inspiration. For what? Opposite inspiration? Because Eggman's whole problem here is that he does not keep his creations under control. I acquired the programming of one of his more unorthodox constructions. Oh, and he went for Belle. He's talking about going for Belle's less mechanical, less programmed, more free will vibe. With her, I had the means of fabricating a personality. Or rather, overwriting existing ones. We see Belle giving some binary code. I can't really translate that. And Starline goes on, my creations will think what I want them to think. Want what I desire them to want. Be who I want them to be. And as a failsafe, they've been made especially prone to my hypnotic gear, just in case they need realignment. And that's what finally breaks the camel's back here, as Kit is panicked at that, and Surge is furious. That's the last straw there. And then we see a pre-current sentience, or pre-current personality Surge and Kit in hypnosis sessions. Subject Surge, Session 5. You hate Sonic. You want to destroy Sonic. And Surge sort of, not quite ferociously, but with a bit of energy, says, I hate Sonic. I want to destroy Sonic. And we see him with Kit in their second session. You live to support Surge. You will do anything for her. Live for Surge. Do anything. And then we cut to session 58, and we see a much more aggressive Surge, as Starline is doing the same thing. You hate Sonic. You want to destroy Sonic. I hate Sonic. I want to destroy Sonic. And then we see Starline and his fucking live, laugh, love mug. You've got a live, laugh, love mug he's drinking out of as he hypnotizes Kit. You live to support Surge. You will do anything for her. I live to support Surge. I will do anything for her. And then we see session 232 for Surge. As without the hypnosis being active here, Starline just asks, and what of the world-renowned hero, Sonic? Pissed. I hate that jerk. I'll wipe my shoes on his grave after I put him in it. And Kit, it only took 33 sessions to hypnotize him. So that's a thing. And what of your partner, Surge? I look out for her. No matter what. I'll do anything for her. Where is she? Can I see her now? Then we see another video file. So, I had repurposed the resilience of the metal virus into safe cellular upgrades to supplement the enhancement cybernetics. Okay. Oh, okay, so what he's saying here is, this is tying back to what we learned last issue, when Surge took that whole punch and just sort of shook it off. Because as Starline goes on, Surge and Kitsunami are exceedingly resilient, physically, but insert file footage here, and we see them constantly getting caught in various traps. In test session 3, she's caught by I'm not quite sure what exactly is happening here. She's getting caught by the buzzsaws or something. In 44, she's falling into spikes. In 105, she's underwater. And at the end of 105, she grabs Starline. I'm not running it again. You want data? You run it. Then we see Kit in session 337 holding open the clampy cement boys with his water tails. In session 458, he's doing something. I'm not quite sure what. In session 520, he's carrying something, I should say. 529, he's defending himself from fire. In 601, we see Starline laying into Kit. Surge is starting to run right now. What are you doing here? I'm sorry. We're back to the main file. An unforeseen necessity of the hypnotic vulnerability has been dealing with the psychological trauma. Oh, okay. So he overwrit their personalities so hard he gave them all trauma. Okay. And we see, it's the explanation for Kit being this coward and Surge being so fucking aggressive all the time. They're both trauma responses in the end. But Starline goes on, I can't erase their memories entirely. They're learning, improving. So with each revival, I must suppress and edit. It's tedious, but they are making progress. What's the expression? No pain, no gain? Hopefully they'll be ready for field testing soon. And we see some more tests. Kit being caught by his ears. Surge having destroyed a whole bunch of badniks, just giving rock on signs. Kit caught in something. And after this, Surge is just furious. She's been completely rewritten by this bastard, and she's not happy. And she tells Kit, okay, look up. And Kit tells her, can we please stop? I don't want to know anymore. But Surge just tells her, look up who we were. What? You heard him. We're cyborgs. He put stuff in us, but he didn't make us. So who were we? Volunteers? Kidnapped? Heroes? Convicts? Who were we before this? Right, she's getting at what I was implying earlier, that there is a before all the manipulation that Starline has done. And Kit gets to typing and then tells her, there's no record. And Surge just turns him around. He makes a vlog over what he made for breakfast. Look harder. I did. It's not there. And Surge just snaps, why not? And Starline approaches them. Because it's irrelevant. And yeah, he's here. He's caught them. And I imagine they might be right about to have a memory reset. And honestly, given where we are here, I'm really curious how this series will wrap up and how it will tie into 50. Because if this were just, if this series weren't designed to tie into issue 50, I'd say, it will end with them asserting their free will and putting the hurt down on Starline. It would give me the sense of, what's the point a little bit, as, if this were connected to 50, I could see Surge and Kit's entire stories being completely unrelated to Sonic and the gang, right? They break free of Starline's conditioning, they beat the shit out of him for a while, they leave, and then they're just recurring characters, perhaps, that none of the rest of the cast knows about. But it's also tying into 50. So if this ends with them breaking free of Starline, what happens in 50? Because the implication is that both this series and the past 5 or so issues of the main series have all been building into a clash. Sonic's gang versus Starline's imposters. But I don't know how that's going to work out here. It remains to be seen. We'll see. Because it's irrelevant, and they see that it is Starline who's arrived. It's past your bedtime, children. And Surge just snaps. It's not irrelevant. I need context. If I have no past, all I have is this. And this is nothing. I'm nobody. I'm just a knockoff. Everything I want, that I think I want, is a lie. And Starline tells her, oh, Surge, we keep having this conversation. And it always ends the same way. This is not the first time they've done this, I think, is what we're learning now. Okay. So, and Surge, covers her eyes and snaps, no, not again! And yells, Kit, get him! And somehow, I think this sort of Starline is taken aback there, or there's something up with Kit's eyes there? Maybe they're covered somewhat? Covered somewhat? There we go. I don't know, but Starline is shocked and is left on defense as Kit just throws his tentacles down at Starline. I also did not bring this up earlier, but I love that Starline's come in his robe. He's in his pajamas right now. Good for him. We stand a drama king. But Starline kicks his electric heel spurs, I think we've seen before, into one of Kit's water tentacles, shocking him through. But Kit's fight there did give Surge the opening she needed to spin dash into Starline, but Starline activates the power element of the Tricore and holds her off. And Surge tells him, gotta pick one flavor off your Tricore at a time, Doc. You want power or speed? And she runs in and is able to get a hit on him from behind because she's just too fast for him. And then as Starline moves into the Flycore, Surge taunts, too bad you built me for both. But the Flycore allows Starline to fly over her and kick her, and she's just hit. And Starline tells her, I've invested too much into you, but I will punish you further if necessary. But Surge tells him, you moron. First, you made me heal real fast. She's already back and she's grabbed the hypnosis arm. And second, you forgot about Kit. And she tosses him up right to where Kit is waiting. No! And yeah, he is now wrapped up in Kit's tentacles. So again, not quite sure where Imposter Syndrome goes from here. If this is kind of the climax of this whole relationship. But also, Surge now has the Tricore. And she tells Kit, hold him. And Starline just begs, don't do this. I'm the only one who knows your past. The only one who can maintain your enhancements. I built you for a higher purpose. We will. And she grabs his face and hypnotizes him right then and there. Shut up. And just drops him. And Kit just asked her, so now what? Which is kind of my question. Now that they've beaten Starline, Starline's sort of hoisted by his own petard here. Now what? I don't know. And I'll have some more thoughts on it. I want to spend a minute to talk about Starline and his own blindnesses, specifically when it comes to how he views himself in contrast to Eggman later. Or you can talk about it now. Because, he sees himself as this, he'll take what Eggman did right and then he'll do better. Cut off the bad stuff and he'll make it all work. But Starline has his own flaws. His own particular hubrises that are sort of, exactly what ended up being his undoing here. If he didn't have to record every single thing, he might have gotten away with this. There might have been no way that Surge and Kit ever quite worked out what happened, but he did, and so now they know. And so I'm curious if Starline will grow from this, or given how much his whole thing is growing from the lessons of Eggman, I'm wondering if he will grow from the lessons of himself, and that remains to be seen. Presumably sometime well after Imposter Syndrome, as I imagine after, everything that the past several months have been building towards comes to a head in issue 50. I imagine Starline's going to go on a break for a while. That's my best guess. Anyway, Kit asked, so now what? And Surge has almost been crying. She asked, now? And we see her sniff and rub her eyes. The uncovered eye has tears in it. Now, we burn it all down. Sonic, Eggman, every idiot that follows either of them. We end it all. No more heroes, villains, nothing. If we don't get a past, they don't get a future. I mean, you could just hypnotize Starline to tell you your past, but Surge isn't exactly thinking clearly here. She is furious. And it's in part, as Starline brought up earlier, kind of that trauma response that he brings up. I forget where it is. The bit about I can't find it. Just flipping through here. Oh yeah, here it is. At the end of the test sessions, the unforeseen necessity that nautical vulnerability has been dealing with a psychological trauma, and Surge's trauma has always manifested itself as rage. And so she is fully on rage mode here. There is no sense here. She's angry and she's lashing out. And so maybe that's kind of this is setting up how they can still be clashing with Sonic in 50. But maybe that's a hint as to how that whole storyline ends up ending. Is that, the gang breaks through to them. You don't have to destroy everything. You can find your past and you can make a new future. I don't know. I'm speculating here. But Kit's on board. Okay. How? And Surge just starts stepping on Starline. Don't know, don't care. Maybe I'll start wearing off the treads on his brain. But Kit just tells her, I won't stop you. May I offer an idea first? You're supposed to be the smart one. Let's hear it. I think I know where this is going to go. They're not going to, just reading this line, they're not going to hypnotize Starline to get answers about their past. But I think they might hypnotize him for another reason. As Kit says, Starline was already planning to bring everyone together. We could use his plan, up to a point, then take it in our own direction. Destroy Sonic and Tails as planned, and go on to destroy the doctors, too. And he looks back to Surge. If that's okay with you, ma'am, which of course I think will end up requiring them to hypnotize Starline to go along with them. But Surge just thinks that the Doc go to all this trouble just to set himself up for the fall. As she's on board, I can work with that. And we see he wakes up. They have given him back the Tricore, which maybe they need to do to make the plan work, but they might be able to hypnotize him to give them the Tricore if they wanted to. I don't know. But he Starline comes awake. Where him? And he suddenly realizes he's sitting in his lab chair with Surge and Kit just lounging. And he turns back and he sees the last bit of of data that Surge and Kit were looking at before Starline interrupted them. But he's a little panicky. He's a little confused. He doesn't quite know what's going on here. What? And Surge tells him, "You finally awake, Doc? Pretty sad you put yourself to sleep with your own monologue." And Starline's, I think, a little skeptical. "My own? You were filling us in on that." Don't know what's going on with my sinuses right now, but they're kind of blocked up. "You were filling us in on the details on how you made us? Pre-mission prep or some nonsense? I wasn't paying full attention." Okay. Alright. So they're giving him some outside information. Because I thought Starline didn't want them knowing anything about that. Even like the concept that they were made is something he doesn't want them to know about. But I don't know. And it was kind of an echo of the first issue when Starline convinced Surge that she was ready for that she was ready for one last field test before they went for the big battle. We have Starline questioning, "I did? Sure I did." And he's still just a little skeptical. "And you're fine with this?" And Surge just gives him this goofy little face. "Well, if I wasn't before, I'm pretty sure you wiped that out of my brain." She makes a joke, but there's some real anger hidden there. "You made us powerhouses. Who am I to complain? All I have to do to get a lifetime of hero worship is dust some ego-driven jerk, right? Easy sell. Kit's cool with it too, right, kid?" And one thing I haven't really been drawing attention to is Kit in all of these scenes. Whereas Surge is like so full of emotion, Kit looks dead. Kit just looks fully dead-eyed, stone-faced, nothing but he doesn't care anymore. He hates and he hates and he hates, but much more quietly than Surge does. Anyway, Kit's cool with it too, right, kid? "Yes, ma'am." "He is because I say he is." "Yes, ma'am." And Starline's a little uncomfortable, but he's choosing to accept that at face value. "Ha! Well then, good. I'm glad we're past that milestone. I really ought to stick to my schedule if I'm working myself to exhaustion like that, though." And Surge and Kit give each other a look of success that their plan has worked. And Surge goes on, "Now that we've got the boring stuff out of the way, what's the plan, boss?" "Well, why not? I seem to have caught a second wind. I'll be brief, though. I don't want this headache to escalate. As the Restoration focused on rebuilding, so too did Dr. Eggman. We'll be invading his new capital city, which is where I'll upload my override program." Okay, capital city is an interesting thing. Does Eggman really have cities? I don't know, something about that's kind of weird. It's not like there are people living in Eggman's empire. I mean, that's the whole thing is they wanted to build the Eggman empire. There isn't really an empire until I don't know, maybe Forces has something, this might be the first point where I'm like, this might make more sense if I had actually played Forces. Because, the series is not really needed much more than, the broad strokes of Forces. Sonic was captured for a while, a resistance rose against a conquering Eggman, and then they won, is really all we've needed. This is kind of the first time it's felt like maybe there's a bit more to capital city as a concept in Forces, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, which is where I'll upload the override program. And Surge tells him scramble the Eggman with his own bots. Love it! But Starline, of course, whose main goal is to help in his own mind Eggman. "No, we are to pacify Dr. Eggman. Sonic and Tails are our only terminal targets." My bad. Alright, and Starline goes on, just sort of lost in his own plan. "Our activities there will undoubtedly grab the attention of the heroes and lure them in. The badniks will be sufficient for ancillary support, freeing you two up to focus on what you were made for. Once you've separated and cornered your targets, you will strike with all your ferocity and with zero remorse." And we see Kit and Surge are more than happy to strike with all their ferocity and with zero remorse. But it won't be on Eggman, and it won't be on Sonic, and it won't just be on Eggman, And it won't just be on Sonic and Tails. It'll be on Starline too. Next time, invading the Eggman Empire. And we see next cover, which does seem to actually give us the fight that this issue's cover promised. Sonic, Surge, and Metal Sonic all sort of in a three-way fight, with Starline, Eggman, Kit, and Tails all watching. Okay, so let's talk this issue, because this is some good shit. This is some good fucking, like, character work, this sort of Surge and Kit realizing who they are and asserting their free will and being sort of divorced from Starline as a concept. It's all some real good shit. And, you know, I love seeing Surge's just growing anger as the whole thing goes on. Like, it's just good. It's good. I love sort of Surge's, you know, this desperate plea for a past. That, like, now that she knows that she has no past, now that she's sort of woken up from the conditioning, and she's realizing that, like, before a week or two ago, she has nothing. And even the stuff that she has since a week or two ago was just sort of implanted by Starline. That has shattered her to her core on some level. And yeah, that's like, it's just good. It's just a damn good. This angry rant when Starline first appears is so good. I had a blast just even reading that. And then, yeah, we had their quick little takedown of Starline. It was sort of a reminder that, like, Starline's whole thing is that he has the Tricore as some bit of help, but he's largely the sort of behind-the-scenes guy. When he's faced with two much more powerful head-on attackers in Surge and Kit, he very quickly falls. And therefore allowing Surge and Kit to start their own plan. Which, you know, is going to be fun. They're going to try to kill a lot of people next time. My guess here, actually, since we're tying this into 50, is that issue 4 will not really in any way end this battle at the Eggman Empire. It will not end this battle at the capital city. That will go into 50. 50 will be the climax of the past couple arcs of the main series and Imposter Syndrome. So yeah, unlike Tangle and Whisper and Bad Guys, which at least had something like closure at the end of their storylines, I don't see that happening for Imposter Syndrome. I see this being, you know, to be continued straight into issue 50, which, you know, will be fun to see. I'm really excited to see how all this plays out. How Surge and Kit, how their whole storyline plays out, how their betrayal goes, how that affects their future in the Sonic universe. I don't know. There is some good shit on the horizon, and frankly, I can't wait to see it. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter in the video itself, issue in the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!